All right, we have this question here. Make x the subject of the formula. The formula is y equals x over 5 plus 3p. So the first thing we try to do in a question like this is find the x. So we're looking for x, and x is here. So we need x by itself to make it the subject of the formula. So what we need to do is move everything that is not directly attached to the x to the other side of the equation. So we just want x alone. So we have y equals x over 3 plus 3p. So we have a positive 3p, so we need to subtract that 3p from the right hand side of the equation. And if we do that, we also need to subtract it from the other side of the equation. So this positive 3p and this negative 3p will cancel each other out. And we'll be left with y minus 3p equals x over 5. Now when we're here, we check again what's with the x. We're dividing x by 5. So when we're transposing, remember we do opposites to move things about the equal sign. So if we're adding something, we do the opposite, we subtract. If we're subtracting, we add. If we're multiplying, we divide. And if we're dividing, we multiply. We also have things like if we're finding the square root of something, the opposite of that is square. So in this question, we're dividing by 5. So to move this 5 here, we will multiply both sides of the equation by 5. So x over 5 multiplied by 5, which means we also have to multiply the other side of the equation by 5. But we have to put this one in bracket because it's more than one thing on that side. So when we tidy this up, we have 5. And in algebra, we don't put the multiplication sign, we just have the open brackets. Y minus 3p, close bracket. And that's equal to this 5 at the denominator will be cancelled by this 5. And we're left with x. So this question is now complete. So x is equal to 5 times 3y minus p in brackets. And that will be it for that question. And we have this other question now. A formula is given as d is equal to the square root of 4h over 5. So the first part says determine the value of d when h is equal to 29 and give your answers to 3 significant figures. So that is the square root of 4h, which is 4 times 29, over 5. If you put that in your calculator, you'll get 4.81663783152. Now the question says give your answers to 3 significant figures. So let's check our significant numbers in this. So the 4 is very significant. So that's 1. 8 is the second one. This one is the third one. So we're going to cut off our number here. And we'll check this number right after our line. If it is 5 or more, we add 1. So this number is 6, so we'll round that off to 4.82. Now the second part of our question is make h the subject of the formula. So it's transposition now. So let me write it down here. So d is equal to the square root of 4h over 5. So the 5 is also under the square root. So first we need to get rid of the square root. The opposite of a square root is square. So the first thing we're going to do is square both sides of the equation. So we'll square this. And we'll square the d. So this square cancels out the square root. And our next line would be d squared is equal to 4h over 5. Now to get beyond this, we need to get rid of this 5 in the denominator. So we're dividing by 5. So to move it, we multiply both sides of the equation by 5. So we'll have d squared times 5. So we'll just put it in front of it. And we'll also have 4h over 5 times 5. And the 5's will cancel. So we're left with 5d squared is equal to 4h. Now the final part of this question is to get rid of this 4 in front of the h. So we are multiplying by 4. So to get rid of the multiplying by 4, we divide both sides by 4. So we'll end up with 5d squared over 4, and that is equal to h. And that would be our answer. Alright, so we have another question here. The quantities f, m, u, v, and t are related according to the formula f is equal to m into v minus u all over t. Find the value of f when m is 3, u is -1, v is 2, and t is 1. So this is a pretty straightforward question where we'll just put in the numbers through substitution and then calculate it. So f is equal to m, so just put a 3, open bracket, v is 2, take away u, and u is -1, so we write -1, close bracket, over t, and t is 1. Let's just look at this part here. This negative sign in here in our original formula is this one here, and the one from the u, let's put that in purple, that negative sign there is the second one. So that's why we have two negatives. So f is equal to 3 into 2. When we have two negative signs beside each other, it becomes positive, so that's 2 plus 1 over 1. So we can tidy this up now. We don't need to do any long calculations for this, because at this level we can do it. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 divided by 1, we have 9. And the final part of this question is make v the subject of the formula. So let's just write back our formula down here. So f is equal to m into v minus u over t. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of we're dividing by t, so let's get rid of that. If you're dividing by something, to get rid of it, we multiply by it, but we have to multiply both sides, so it's t times f, which is just tf, and that is equal to, this t will cancel out this t, and we have m into v minus u. So now let's continue it. Let's get rid of the m. We're multiplying by m, so to get rid of that multiplying by n, we divide both sides by m, and we'll have t times f, and we're now going to divide it by m, and when we divide the right hand side by m, it will cancel out, so we can just write back the v take away u. So now all that's left to be moved is the take away u. So if you're subtracting something, to get rid of it, you add it back. So we will add u to both sides. So we have t times f over m plus u, and that will be equal to v. Because if we add a u to this one here, this side, it will cancel each other out. So our final answer is t times f over m plus u, and that is equal to v.